First at 9. This is Derana 24/7.
In your headlines tonight, Kelaniya Dal storage accident kills one. Rubber master plan launched, PM calls for vigorous actions. Kim Yong-nam was killed by banned toxic chemical, reveals Malaysian police. Victoria's Sri Lankan team returns home. Hello there, very good evening to you. It's a rainy Friday evening here in Colombo, but thank you for joining us here at Derana 24/7. I'm Dasaman Prematunga. And now let's take a look at your local news first. An individual died today after a load of dal collapsed on him while he was working inside a storage tank at a dal factory in the Pattivila area in Kelaniya. Now, medical officials at the base hospital in Kiribati said that 4 other persons have also been hospitalized due to the accident. The accident occurred at the dal factory in the Pattivila area in Kelaniya at around 3:30 this afternoon. It is being reported that the victim faced the tragic accident while cleaning the dal tank. The other workers in the factory had tried their best to save the victim, who was stuck under a load of dal in a life-threatening situation. However, although they succeeded in rescuing the victim from under the dal load after 30 minutes, he died on admission to the Kiribati base hospital. The victim has been identified as 29-year-old Mohammed Powers from the Hemmatagama area. A similar incident was reported at the same factory on the 10th of March in 2015 when one person died after a 90-foot tall tower which stored dal collapsed on the victim. Indonesian President Joko Widodo has invited President Maithripala Sirisena to pay a state visit soon after the Indian Ocean Rim Association Summit to be held in Jakarta. A letter of invitation was delivered by the Indonesian President's Special Envoy, Vice Minister of Foreign Affairs A.M. Fakir, who called on President Sirisena at the Presidential Secretariat. President Maithripala Sirisena is scheduled to attend the IORA Summit on the 6th and 7th of March. President Sirisena conveyed that he is looking forward to discussions with the Indonesian president on bilateral cooperation in trade, investment, tourism and other areas of common interest. The special envoy also informed President Maithripala Sirisena that Indonesia has already dispatched the first consignment of rice donation for drought relief announced by President Widodo. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe calls on rubber stakeholders to initiate vigorous action to take Sri Lanka's rubber industry out of crisis. He said this addressing the launch of the National Rubber Master Plan.
The Rubber Master Plan was launched at the Temple Trees yesterday.
Everyone in the private sector, we want incentives, what is happening. But first, we should look at the bigger picture. Bigger picture is 10 years, our foreign debt, which we have to repay and service, comes to $36 billion. Next year alone, the foreign and the local debt is $7 billion. So now we have to turn this around, not only build up our reserves, but build up our economic base, go for the future. Now, why did we bring the rubber industry, the value addition industry in? Because we wanted a market for our primary product of rubber. Everyone came here because rubber was cheap or competitive. Then what happened that the last government had to allow rubber to be imported into Sri Lanka. Our primary rubber producers lost its competitiveness. And we couldn't tell the value addition producers use local rubber. To survive, they had to get in. So these were very uncomfortable situation and our production has come down. We are in a serious crisis for the country. What's happened to us? We all say cost of production. But you showed me Malaysia. Malaysian per capita income is much higher than ours. Whereas Vietnam? Vietnam is now on par with us or more. So where do we go? We have to be again globally competitive in rubber. And this is what the master plan must achieve. First is you have to remember the Rubber Research Institute was industry driven. It's not industry driven now. How do you all work together with the industry? How does the industry get a stake in it? You can't be separate. Forget about it. I'm not giving you any more money if you think that is. Come back with a valid plan. I'm not saying to privatize, but you can be driven by a fund which has private-public participation. Therefore, the fund holders also have a place there. So some of the rubber lands will come. Will have to be utilized for other purposes. We'll be pushing you in that direction. So this is the goal of the government.
Plantation Industries Minister Navin Dissanayake pointed out Sri Lanka's potential to compete globally.
For the first time, we have a policy document in our hand. The amount of rubber that has been produced in Sri Lanka has been coming down steadily. But as a value adder, Sri Lanka has close to $1 billion now. If the rubber master plan is properly implemented, we can probably hit about $3 billion USD in about 6 to 7 years' time.
Parliamentarian Harshana Rajakaruna says the United National Party is ready to face the local government elections under any system. He was addressing a media briefing in Colombo today.
Delimitation issue has been solved now, but the election commissioner says that the bill should be amended. We are hoping to continue the amendment of the bill in Parliament. The election should be held after this process. If not, election will have to be held under the old system. No one likes to hold the elections under the old system. We are ready to face the election under any system. The opposition says that the government is afraid of facing elections, but we are ready for any election at any given time.
The president of the Sri Lanka Medical Council, Professor Carlo Fonseca, has been admitted to the Colombo National Hospital following an allergic reaction. He was admitted based on recommendation of doctors. He had visited hospital last night due to a sudden pain experienced in his chest. Director of the National Hospital said that Professor Carlo Fonseca is out of danger and will be discharged soon. The head of the International Liaison Department of the Central Committee of the Communist Party of China, Song Tao, says that the golden age of Sri Lanka and China relations was seen during the former President Mahinda Rajapaksa's regime. The Chinese minister Song Tao said this during a meeting with the former president yesterday.
A group of representatives of the Chinese Communist Party who are currently visiting in Sri Lanka met with the former President Mahinda Rajapaksa at his residence in Vijayarama yesterday. Parliamentarians representing the joint opposition and former Defence Secretary Gotabaya Rajapaksa also participated at the discussion. The head of the International Liaison Department of the Central Committee of the Communist Party of China, Song Tao, said during the discussions that the former president will remain a friend of China in spite of his political position. Song Tao has said that his visit is to further extend China's friendship and the support of the Communist Party of China to Sri Lanka.
We take a short break now. We'll be back with more news. Welcome back. The ambassador of Netherlands to Sri Lanka, Joanne Doneward, says the Netherlands government will support the process of reviving the Beira Lake project. The ambassador of Netherlands to Sri Lanka made these comments to Ada Derana after an event held at the Somawati Nivasa, an orphanage in Habaraduwa today.
In the past, we had a big embassy with a lot of projects. Right now, that has changed. Sri Lanka is a middle-income country, so our program has shifted from aid to trade. So we are like equal partners. So we come with our knowledge, we share that, and we focus really on certain areas like agricultural cooperation, in horticulture, in dairy, in poultry, but also in water management. I think the Netherlands, as you might know, a third of our country is below sea level. And we have, our whole life, we have always struggled for centuries with water. So we have gained a lot of knowledge on water management. And right now, over the world, the Dutch are going, the Dutch engineering, advising on water management in the US, in the Philippines, everywhere, and also here.
The Dutch ambassador also went on to explain about projects in Sri Lanka that the Netherlands government is focused on to provide their support.
So, Saturday I was together with the Prime Minister to open a project on drinking water, supplying water to, I think, 200,000 people will be using that water. It's a project of 3 years. So there are a lot of projects right now being implemented, and that in the future that will grow, I think. But we're also looking at like the Barra Lake to see how you can clean it up and how you can keep it clean. But it always has to be like a business-like model, no? I mean, we're not going... So it has also to like a win-win situation, that people have, they gain something and we gain something, yeah.
And in your sports news tonight, the Sri Lankan cricket team, after a successful 20 series win against the Kangaroos, returned home this morning. They were welcomed to a special ceremony at the Bandaranaike International Airport. Sri Lanka won the first 2 matches of the 3-match 2020 series against Australia in last ball thrillers. Australia managed to prevent Sri Lanka from a 3-match whitewash by winning the 3rd encounter. Sri Lanka Cricket organised a media briefing.
I'm very happy to win a series, especially in Australia. Defeating them in Australia is not an easy task. I'm very happy to have become the man of the series.
We have won 2 series back-to-back.
They've done some fantastic things. If we look at the 2 tours, I think we did make some progress. We played on very difficult, but still very happy with the way the boys played in that first game with real energy and competitive attitude. I think we're going in the right direction.
I was privileged to handle this team, which to my mind, very competent in skills. Side is one of the most disciplined sides that I've ever managed.
Meanwhile, Chamara Kapugedera's birthday was celebrated after the media briefing. In international cricket, Australia restricted India to their weakest collapse in more than a decade as day 2 of their first test got underway at Pune's MCA Stadium today. Now, Australia are vying to make it to the top position in tests, trailing India by 12 rating points in the official ICC Test team rankings. Well, it is a must for the Kangaroos to win the 2 matches against India.
There were some close calls as the ball...
At match halt yesterday, Australia were 256 for the loss of 9 wickets.
Dev got the first breakthrough of the series.
How often we've seen that bowler kept out of the attack. Comes in and strikes.
In day 2, today Australia was only able to add 4 more runs to their total as overnight batsman Mitchell Starc was dismissed in the first over of the day. Umesh Yadav picked 4 wickets of the Australian first innings for 32 runs, while Ravichandran Ashwin bagged 3 wickets for 63 runs.
The hosts openers got off to a solid start before Hazelwood got the breakthrough.
The Indian batting lineup, taking the pitch for their first innings, suffered an uncharacteristic collapse, making just 105 runs.
Virat Kohli.
That's outside edge, and that's gone. Virat Kohli, the man.
But celebrations would abruptly halt as O'Keefe took charge.
There's a fielder getting under it, and he'll take the catch.
Last 7 wickets fell for just 11 runs in 7.5 overs, making this worst fall since 1990 when New Zealand dismissed 7 Indian wickets within 18 runs in Christchurch.
7 wickets falling for just 11 runs, a record low for the hosts.
Australian left-arm spinner Steve O'Keefe picked 6 Indian wickets for 35 runs.
Job in the middle order.
Catches the goal.
Beginning the second innings today, Australia scored 143 for the loss of 4 wickets at the close of play.
Good bit of timing. He's very, very strong in that area. And also...
And in school cricket, kicking off the big match season, the cricketing encounter between Thurston and Isipatana colleges began at the SSC grounds in Colombo today. This is the 54th big match encounter between the 2 schools.
Winning the toss, Isipatana elected to field first. Starting off their first innings, Thurston College managed to score 228 runs. Captain Charanana Nayakkara scored 58 runs while K. Aberatna scored 43. Meanwhile, taking the pitch for their first innings, Thurston College was 78 runs for 3 wickets at the close of play.
A short break now and international news is coming up. Welcome back. Malaysian police announced today that the poison used to kill Kim Jong-nam, the half-brother of the North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, was a VX nerve agent. Now, this substance, declared a weapon of mass destruction by the UN, is more potent than any other, with the ability to kill within minutes. The estranged half-brother of North Korean leader Kim Jong-un died on February 13th when he was scheduled to board a flight from Kuala Lumpur to Macau. Malaysian police claim that 2 women involved in the killing wiped Kim's face with some sort of liquid at the instruction of 4 North Koreans. There is widespread suspicion that North Korea was responsible for the attack, which it fiercely denies. It responded furiously to Malaysia's insistence on conducting a post-mortem examination and has accused Malaysia of having sinister purposes.
That's difficult to detect. The substance was listed as chemical weapon under the Chemical Weapon Convention of 1990.
Entering Kuala Lumpur Airport in the grey suit, this CCTV appears to show Kim Jong-nam. He continues into the busy departures hall.
Here's some groundbreaking news. A new vaccine-based HIV treatment experimented by a group of doctors in France has succeeded in suppressing the virus in 5 patients. Now, this raises hope on further research which could help prevent AIDS without the need for daily drugs. Researchers combined 2 innovative HIV vaccines with a drug usually used to treat cancer in the trial conducted over 3 years at the Ercicacia AIDS Research Institute in Barcelona. The New Scientist reports that after receiving the treatment, the virus was undetectable in 5 out of 24 participants and its spread was stopped by their immune systems. One of them has been drug-free for 7 months.
I would think that the advances made in treatment as well as in prevention with pre-exposure prophylaxis are some of the most breathtaking advances in science that have been made in anyone's memory.
I had read lots of stories lately promising, a cure, a vaccine for HIV, and I felt the need to do something to help.
The results suggest that the vaccine may boost the immune system enough to allow infected people to drive down HIV levels without taking drugs, although it is not clear for how long. China's foreign ministry said it would implement a United Nations sanction curbing North Korea's coal sales abroad after data showed that its imports from the isolated country eased last month. January imports from North Korea eased 13% from a year earlier to 1.45 million tons. January's volume accounted for almost 20% of the latest UN annual sales quota of 7.5 million tons or $400.9 million worth of North Korea's biggest export. The imports last month came before Beijing's decision on Saturday to ban coal shipments entirely after Pyongyang tested an intermediate-range ballistic missile in its first direct challenge to the international community since US President Donald Trump took office. Firefighters battled 6 active forest fires in Chile's central Biobío region, 3 of which are located in the province of Nubel in Chile. The government has once declared a red alert after months of forest fires have plagued the South American nation. According to official figures, this year's fires have so far consumed over 580,000 hectares of land. The devastation caused by the flames is vast. At least 11 people have died, 1,500 homes destroyed and nearly 1,500 homes, costing the government $333 million. Authorities said at the beginning of the month. The forest fires are advancing quickly due to dry vegetation and wind conditions. So far, in Quailon, 200 hectares of land and 2 houses have been affected by the fire. And we take a short break. Well, the rainy conditions that we are experiencing in Colombo are expected to continue and enhance from today, particularly in the southern half of the island. Now, several spells of showers will occur in the eastern and Nuwa provinces and in the Hambantota district. Showers or thunder showers will also occur at several places in the western, Sabaragamu and central provinces and in the Gaul and Mathura districts. Misty conditions also can be expected at some places in the western, Sabaragamu, central and southern provinces during the early mornings. And let's now take a look at the city-by-city weather forecast. Well, that's a look at your main news tonight. Thank you very much for joining us. For up-to-date news on the local, international, business, sports or entertainment scene, do log on to www.otherderana.lk or like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter. I'd like to wish you a wonderful weekend. And before we go, we would like to leave you with the visuals of the colorful annual winter festival Battle Sleighs held in Russia, and it falls on the same day as Russia's national holiday, the defenders of the fatherland.
Bringing you the news and information 24 hours a day. This is Sri Lanka's premier news channel, Other Derana 24/7.